Hi folks, welcome to another episode of My Life with Robert Burns. Jim Thompson and Douglas Mackenzie here again to talk to another of our cronies from around the Burns world. How are you doing, Jim?
Hi Douglas, doing fine this evening. At least it's not raining for a change in Kilmarnock.
It's certainly been raining for quite a number of days. I hear these stories of the folk down south that are getting sweltered. It's certainly not happening here yet.
No, I was out with the dog yesterday morning and I was swimming home, I think.
Ah, dear, oh dear. Anyway, tonight's guest, folks, is currently the Scots Language Teacher of the Year. And she teaches at the Scots Language School of the Year. I should probably have said primary school, but I'll check that when we get into the conversation. Cronies everywhere, please welcome Mrs. McNulty.
Hello.
How are you doing? Now,
Hi.
I said
Good,
Mrs.
thanks.
McNulty, but I know no school's out, so I'm hoping I can call you Danielle.
You can absolutely call me that. I've had Mrs. McNutty, Mrs. McNutjob. I've had all the names, so Danielle's absolutely fine.
That's great. Danielle, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, please?
Yeah, so I'm a teacher at Newcombe Primary School. I've been there now for this will be my 14th year now. I live in Sanquhar. I'm a mum to two boys. Here's a wee one just creeping in, getting ready to go to his bed. My boys are 9 and 3. I'm currently principal teacher at Newcombe Primary, so I'm not currently in a class. I've got a probationer teacher, so I'm getting a wee bit more free time round about the school to dabble in all the other wee bits that I enjoy when I'm not on the chalk face all the time.
And Sanquhar, did you grew up in Sanquhar, did you?
Grew up in Sanquhar, born and bred, and actually once I was married, my husband and I bought a house in the estate that I grew up in. So I'm literally 5 doors round the road from my mum and dad, which is great for childcare. It's great for if I'm feeling a wee bit overwhelmed with my washing and ironing. My wee mammy's just round the corner to give me a wee hand. So I planned that very well.
Perfect. And did you do any other schools before you got back to the area and came to Newcombe?
Yeah, so my probation year was in New Abbey Primary, so travelled all the way down to New Abbey and loved it. I had a primary 4 to 7 multi-composite class, but absolutely loved it there. It was a great wee school. It was very family oriented. And then after that, it was the time when it was really, really hard to get a job. So you were applying, and I remember my dad worked in the open cast at the time, and my phone kept pinging rejection, and he said he couldn't load his coal shovel for greeting, just at the thought his wee lassie desperate to teach up. Sorry, here's my cat. Hi, Jackal. My wee lassie desperate to teach and can't secure a job. He was devastated, but luckily ended up securing a year at Sanquhar, which was great. Obviously dead handy, worked alongside teachers that taught me, so knew the school, knew the families really well, which was great, and then luckily was able to apply for a job out with Dumfries and Galloway and went to East Ayrshire. But I mean, back then I'm pretty sure there was 600 folk in for my job. And obviously trying to shortlist those application forms is really tricky, and the only saving grace that I had was that I'd applied in my maiden name. It was before I was married, and I had a placement back when it was the Cairnhill School.
All right.
I had a placement there, and the head teacher recognised my name, so that was my saving grace, that I was able to be identified in that massive bundle of paperwork and get a chance to go in and interview and secure the permanent job, and I've never looked back.
Fantastic. And were you always going to teach? What was your favourite subjects at school?
I was always going to teach. Always going to teach. Yeah, I loved maths at school, and I feel I've kind of rubbed that off in my wee boy. He's a big maths guy as well. It was my passion. Always loved working with kids, and even when I was at school and a wee bit older at the secondary, my summers were spent working at the summer schools, and it was always what I was going to do. So I did the 4-year B.Ed route through at Ayr the Old Craigie campus.
Yeah.
I was too much a home bird. I was never going to stay away from home. So really tried hard to pass my driving test so that I could travel to uni for the 4 years and did. So I
Very
love
good. Very good. Fantastic. So, so you mentioned the teachers that you had at Sanker a couple of times, and we interviewed, I think, a couple of them in episode 51.
Uh-huh.
Do we want to give them a name drop?
Would it have been Victoria and Lynn?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, and you know what? See, everything that I've done for I went to Newcomnock, and I tell Lynn and Victoria this all the time, it's because of what they did with me when I was away.
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones that worked with me. Victoria started off with me. She was Miss Simpson at the time. I'm pretty sure we were our first class actually before she got married. And she was the one that pushed us through the singing. I still remember some of the songs that we would do at the festivals. And Lynn worked so well. To be fair, I was never as good as what some of the kids that I'm producing are. And my sister likes to remind me that. My sister, she did really well through the Burns competitions. I always liked it and always took part, but I was never a big shining star that stood out that people remembered. My sister was that person, and my sister, and I want to say maybe back in 2009, maybe. I'd need to ask her, but Melanie was the young or junior, I can't remember, on Burnsman of the Year.
Oh, wow.
So she was awarded that the year that the Nationals was in Dumfries. And quite often when I go to these competitions with my kids, Isa Hanley and the likes get me mixed up with Melanie because we do look quite alike. And I don't ever want to correct them because I think if you think I'm like Melanie, you'll think I'm really good.
Oh, fantastic. So what was it about Lynn and Victoria that inspired you?
It was their passion and the way they made you feel good about yourself. And that's what I'll try to do with the kids that I work with. When I've got kids that come up to me and want to take part in these things, they're never turned away. I will work with them and I'll make sure that they've got the confidence to go and perform in front of an audience and see when you get that wee sparkle out of a wee person, it's so worth it. So it's unlimited numbers. We've had kids for all stages in every discipline entering these competitions and gaining that confidence, which I keep telling them was something they take on through to later life, because I feel that that's helped me in the profession that I'm in the day, having the confidence to stand in front of a group of children and basically we're performing all day long as teachers was through those experiences when I was wee.
How many kids have you got at Newcomnock School?
Our current school roll is 227. So we're growing. I think there's been adverts in the paper because in week we had about 5 new families starting.
Aye, fantastic. So before we go on to talk about what you've been doing in the Burns world, can you tell us a little bit about the Scots Language Awards and how that come about?
So totally by surprise, a colleague of mine had nominated me and nominated the school, but hadn't told anybody. We didn't ken until this email had come in. And I'm thinking, right, okay, somebody's pranking me here. Who's like made a wee false email account and just having a wee laugh and a carry on. And then we found out the school was nominated as well. So Claire Johnson, she's a Newcomnock lassie, born and bred, and both her kids, they're now at secondary school now, but they came up through the primary and I worked with both her girls right through. And both of them, I would say, are superstars and have confidence. And especially Emma, you can see she's further up through the school now and she is meeting with counsellors and she's welcoming new pupils when they come to the RBA, to the Robert Burns Academy, and she's giving them tours. She's got the confidence to do that for still such a young person, and she's someone that really excelled and still went through primary years with me and her sister, and yet at the academy come back to me. They go off the bus on a Friday because they finish half day on a Friday, and I continue to enter them in these competitions for secondary level and they come and see me. So I think the fact that they love it so much, that they've left us, but you never really leave. It's like once a new Cumnock Wayne, I was a new Cumnock Wayne. And they still want to, they have that passion and that drive still at that age, which I think is amazing. So Claire saw that passion and how much she knows the time, because teaching, I was fought with my husband about this, teaching is never a 9 to 3 job, it never has been. And I know these wee extras are extras, but it's these extras that I have so much passion for, because you see the results so much quicker and it's on the forefront. You're no waiting on a test to be marked, and it's no anything you have to be academic to be able to do you know? And it's that's no everybody's strength. School doesn't meet everybody's needs in that way. There's some kids that aren't for the academic side, but by God can they perform, or they've got a wee niche, and I really enjoy being able to nurture that. So Claire had popped in her nomination, and then we heard that we'd been shortlisted, and then it really all just went for there. New Cumnock went wild. We shared the nomination link through the school communications, and there was just such a buzz about the place on the lead up to it. It was amazing.
And the actual award ceremony was a great night. It was, I mean, it was real quality entertainment. Yeah.
You felt like you were somewhere really grand. You wouldn't think you were right in the heart of Cumnock. Just the town hall, the venue was great. The people that were there, having the opportunity to mingle with everybody beforehand. It was a super event, and I'm can't wait to go back this year. It'll be brilliant.
I mean, I was really impressed. You know, I was surprised, first of all, that it was taking place in Cumnock, but then when you went into the town hall, and I mean, I remember the town hall from when I was a 17-year-old going to dancing there. And I went into the town hall, and the lighting and the way in which they'd set the stage, it just looked very, very professional. It was excellent.
It really was.
Yeah. What I think we'll do is we'll tag the video of the Scottish Language Awards in the comments when we publish this, so that people can see it. So that would be good.
That would be good. I've watched that back a few times and cringing at my speech, because never went prepared with anything, because thinking you're against these people for all over Scotland. Nobody's going to recognise a wee lassie for a wee bit like New Cumnock. So I was really, really taken aback. It was amazing.
Oh, it's fantastic, and it was great that the school got the award as well. So the whole school must support the concept of using Scots.
They do. The staff are on board, and I think we've spent such a long time building up our community partnerships that it is embedded right throughout the school. It's not just something that I do as an extra. It is part of our curriculum and part of our school life. Do you know, the events that we run and the celebrations that we have are now annual things, because the community look for it. I mean, our Burns family night, we've now done 3 of them, and by God, is that hall jumping. You'll need to come to the next Douglas. What a night it is. And we pull on lots of people from all over that come and perform, past kids or current kids. And by the end of the night, everybody's round the hall, all singing, all lang syne together. Honestly, it's a wonderful night, and it's nice for the community to have something like that and take pride in their heritage. It's amazing.
Oh, it's fantastic. No, I'd really enjoy it to come along, and because I've seen the photographs.
Well, your invite will be coming next time, Douglas. I'll email you.
Okay, thanks very much. We're beginning to drift on to talking a bit about Burns, so just it's probably worth mentioning when we're talking about the Scottish Language Awards that New Cumnock got another award there, because Rob Wilson got a special award that night. So it was a great night for New Cumnock.
Amazing.
And as you say, competing with the whole of Scotland, it was excellent. So I think the awards are going to be in Cumnock again next year, aren't they?
They are this September. Yeah.
So I look forward to that.
That'll be good.
Anyway, let's move on a bit. I mean, the thing that is most impressed us Burnsians is what you've achieved with your school children in relation to the competitions and their ability to perform Burns. So I'll just pass over to Jim and maybe get a wee chat about that.
Okay. I mean, if I can take you back to the very, very first time You took these wonderful young people to the competition that the Federation have every year in terms of choirs.
Yeah.
And tell people about that, because I'm going to come in with something while you're after you finish.
With the choir, Jim, yeah. Sorry, my cat's having a fight in the background with a bit of paper. I can hear him scratching. So back with the choral festival. So again, a school choir is something that I've always been passionate about, because I was a member in my school choir growing up, and I still and I spoke about Victoria and Lynn. I still go to Victoria's choir. At the age of 37, she runs a weekly choir at all the Ayers and Sanka, and I go there and I love it. And it's a Wednesday, you start to get a bit tired by a Wednesday, but see, once I've been and had a wee sing song with everybody, I feel so much better. All these endorphins have been released. So my passion for a choir started, and I knew that when I went to Newcombe that was something that I wanted to get for the get-go. The choral festival, however, used to be a wee bit challenging to get to. It was always held in Armadale, which, as in Newcombe, where I was snooker when it comes to the price of transport. But having the Ayrshire Federation and the World Federation behind us, they supported us by funding the cost of transport to get us there, which was amazing, because without that, we didn't have the money in the school budget to be able to get the kids there. The competition now, though, is so much more accessible because it's online. So it's reaching far and wide. There's so many more schools being entered into it, and the way that Beth has done it, that you're seeing the videos of the kids when you're at the national competition, is helping to spread the word of what these kids could achieve. So back at the start, I called on the help of Mr. Bert Lowe again, a coming up man. He was my old music teacher, and when I went pleading to him, because although I love to sing and love to perform, I can't read sheet music, I can't play an instrument. So to have the support of him was brilliant, and he loved it, because having been retired, it kind of kept his finger in just working with a school and getting the love of singing and performing with the kids. And I'm trying to remember now, I don't think we placed on our first one.
I can tell you exactly where you were with it.
Where were we?
You didn't place, but the thing was, it was it 3 or 4?
Aye, there was only ever a few because of where you were.
I was sitting beside Bobby Kane, whose wife Karen was the organiser. And Bobby says, once the whole thing was finished, because to be fair, the choir that won it that year were just sensational. They really were. Absolutely terrific. And I don't think there was that much between the rest of the choirs, to be honest with you, but the one who won was always going to win it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Bobby says to me, he says, well, they've done really well. He says, they were quite good. I says, I wait till next year. And it come back to haunt me right enough, I've got to say.
Aye.
Him and I had a wee bet, and but the thing about it was, it was clear from that very first one that something big was starting to bubble up. And I don't know whether you felt that or not, but the children certainly did. You could see that. I'm saying young people, I suppose, but I mean, sitting there as an old man watching it, I'm looking at them, and they were loving every minute of it.
Oh, they did. Sorry, Jim, 2 wee seconds. My cat is currently attacking my arm. I'm just going to put him in the kitchen. 2 wee seconds.
It's the first time I've ever been outdone by a cat. Oh, yeah.
I remember back in lockdown days when we were doing like our Zoom quizzes online, he used to hate it. I think it was the noise of the speakers, and he would go wild and start chowing in your ear. No, the kids, and I still remember that wee group of kids. I've still got their picture, because every year I just build up. We've got a big display in the school, and I love to show how their success is growing. And these kids now are grown-up children who have like adult jobs. It's really scary. It makes me feel really old when I look back and see the age of these wains to then to what they are now, and the experience for them, like the day out and travelling up in the bus and going to Armadale. I'm pretty sure 2 of them were seeking the bus on the road up to, so it was a terrible road. But just the whole atmosphere, and it was their first those kids had never experienced that before, and competing against Waynes from all over Scotland and hearing the praise, because no matter if you're placed or no, you're still getting that kind of constructive feedback to work on. And by God, we did, you know, we taken it away. And I remember, was it the piano teacher, I can't mind her name, but she works with the Dumfries schools. She was playing actually at the Nationals no long ago. She plays the piano.
Oh, I know who you mean, but I just can't remember her name.
I can't mind her name. And I remember she kind of pulled me to the side, and God love her, you know, she wasn't giving me constructive criticism. It was more like, nah, you're not doing this right, you're not doing this right. And I'm like, okay, just give me to next year. I'm still finding my feet with this, and see what we come back with, because we come back fighting. And we did, and the choir went from strength to strength. And like I was saying earlier, if I've got a child who wants to take part, they are never shunned. Every Wayne gets to enter. I do cap it at primary 4, because see if I opened it up P1 to 7, I would need an extension to be able to host them all, because we're sitting with about 45 kids that I meet weekly. And I have to pull in a classroom assistant for the sake of like safety ratios to have that many Waynes under just my care. But any Wayne that wants to take part and has a passion for singing, and or even just social aspect and coming along. I mean, I've got primary 7 boys that it was never cool before to be in the school choir, but now it's a cool place to be, and they want to come, and they come every week, and they enjoy the company and the banter and the carry on and the experiences of performing. I mean, last year the kids were singing in George Square in Glasgow. Do you know, it was amazing, and the opportunities that they are getting, it's amazing. It really is.
Yeah, it's and that was a wonderful bunch of young folk as well. I remember he sent me a card, and I just, you know, it's still it's in my memory box. I'll never get rid of it. Just another newcomer boy getting some newcomer. But I mean, it's now developed. Obviously, you've got the national competitions every year. How are you preparing them for that sort of thing?
So we do. It's became part of school life, so we know it's coming. We still do our school level competitions, and because if I'm class committed or even no class committed, I'm not getting to see what's through each of the stages. But when the teachers have kind of whittled it down to their top 6 who'll then perform, then I'm sitting with my notebook and I'm like, oh, you really stand out. And you know, it's surprising, because there's some weans now who would never, ever, ever have done that before, spoke in front of an audience. They could barely speak in a group discussion setting in the class, and now they're up there on a stage performing in front of the whole school, because it's part of our school life. It's like what Newcomer does, and the kids absolutely love it. And even just last week, we had kids who quite often are my Burns kids or my choir kids who are part of our school show production, and we did a production of Mary Poppins Jr. I don't know if you'd seen it, Jim. It was on the Newcomer group. I'd shared stuff that was happening on the Facebook page to direct them to the school website to have a look. And oh my goodness, the confidence in these Waynes. Like, a lot of schools will do that as a secondary production, but we're doing it for primary 4, 8. It's amazing.
I was surprised when I saw that you were doing that kind of stuff, because you did a musicals night as well, if I remember rightly. Yes,
we did our summer concert too. So that's again something that we do every year. But our school show has been something we've done now for the past 3 years.
Right.
And it's you'll ken what it's like doing a school production. It's a power of work, and it's always a double act. It's me and my colleague, who unfortunately has been off school not well. So the last term it was just me, and that's when it gets to the nitty-gritty and trying to pull everything together. But all these Waynes are just so talented, and the parents are so supportive as well, that we absolutely pulled it off. So the Burns stuff and the competitions and the Scots language is kind of permeating through everything else now, and it's amazing.
And it makes such every time I judge at shows competitions, which I do regularly, every time I do it, I say the same thing to the people competing and their parents and grandparents, that the difference this will make to you in later life is it's incalculable.
Yep.
It
Yeah.
gives them that sort of a strength of confidence that they can then move on in life.
Yep.
And you
And
see,
actually,
you see some of these young people years later, and they're just special.
they're excelling, and you can tell they've just got a wee spark about them. And we've actually noticed as well, we track our attainment in our different curricular areas, and talking and listening, one of the literacy areas, was always something that was quite hard to assess. But now, because we've got so many opportunities within the school, we can quite confidently say if a child is on track or not within talking and listening, and it's all down to this sort of work that you do, and speaking in a group setting or speaking to an audience. And you've got kids who are actually exceeding national expectation for talking and listening, because they're really pushing on and doing really well with their Scots language, and they're performing.
Aye, great. Can I just switch a wee bit and talk a wee bit more about you in terms of Burns? I mean, you're a singer, and what do you enjoy about Burns and his songs and his poems?
I think it's just that kind of nostalgic feel about it, because I loved it so much when I was wee, and it just carries through with you. I think being for a place like Sanquhar and working in a place like Newcomnock where there's so much Burns heritage, I think it just hits a wee bit deeper, because you get it, you can relate to it. There's so much round about us, even at our school, that you just have more enjoyment for it, because you know the history behind it, and again, that just sort of nostalgia of it's what I did when I was wee, and I can keep doing it when I'm older, and it just makes you feel happy and settled.
Do you ever do
Nice,
anything at Burns
comfortable
suppers?
place.
I'm sorry.
Do you ever do anything at Burns suppers?
I did actually. I just did my first Burns supper 2 years ago for Newcomnock Parish Church. And again, like I was saying to Douglas earlier, I've done this so long with the kids, but it was never anything that I was necessarily known for when I was wee. My sister was the one that was renowned for her poetry and her performing. I did it in my school choir and would do it at the competitions, but I never really excelled in it like my sister Melanie did. But 2 years ago, getting the chance to do it, I was dead excited. And it was nice to kind of showcase and to talk to the kids about, I had butterflies in my belly and I was dead nervous and I was feared that I was going to miss a line, because that's what I'm pushing them and encouraging them to do. So they were then doing the same for me. No, you've got this, Mrs. McNulty. Oh, we can't wait to hear how you've got on. So it was lovely. It was good.
So what did you do that night?
I addressed the haggis.
Uh-huh.
And I did Willie Wassel, because it is one of my favourites, and it makes me giggle so much. And again, that's the one that my sister won for that year, and I think that's why that one hits home, because I've heard her do it so many times and I've seen it done so many different ways. And I think when you've got, I mean, some of my kids, there was a wee boy this year, he came third at Ayrshire regionals, and he's been a wee boy that's came to me for primary one, and every year he's stood out, but he's never been shortlisted in the top 3, and he comes back fighting every year, and he knew, I'm going to keep going, Miss McNulty, I know that I can do this, I know I can stand out. And he got it this year, he's primary 4 now, and he was outstanding. It's a fun one to do, lots of facial expressions, because that's what I like, it's when the kids tell the story.
Was that the Ayrshire one?
Ayrshire, wee Stuart Young.
I was doing the 6-7s this year.
Oh, did you see my Adele?
Right.
Oh, she's outstanding. She was amazing at nationals as well. Her feedback was wonderful. Wonderful.
Aye, that was me. It's just, I love it, and it's the enjoyment you get from sitting there, and a lot of the time you're writing stuff down, and you just stop and start just enjoying the performances.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and for me, the very fact that somebody of that sort of age, I mean, primary 4, 5, standing there reciting in front of a whole room full of strangers.
I know.
Seriously, I couldn't have done that in a million years.
It's when you see the wee tiny tots as well, the P1 to 3 category. It's amazing. And my wee one, like, again, through my love for it and seeing me work with kids, my wee boy does it. And Frankie, was he primary 3? He was in the P1 to 3 category at Dumfries, and P1s to 3s in as big a region as Dumfries and Galloway, there was about 70 kids in his category, and there was like 4 different sections, and my wee boy came third. And see that way, like, I have so much pride when it comes to my school wains, and see when it was my actual ain wain that had birthed that had went up there and get third, it was outstanding. And he's got one of the wee faces to have that confidence, and he was 7, like, it was outstanding, and he wasn't faced by it.
To be fair to the Southern Counties, I mean, Douglas and I were down judging this year, and that's the second year in a row I've done it, and the talent is amazing. It really is. It's very, very, very competitive.
Absolutely.
But I get your point about the primary 1 to 3s. We did a bit of judging up at Muirkirk as part of the Lopake Poetry Festival up there, and the primary 1 to 3s, we sat at a table in the room, and they just stand in front of the table, and the wee ones, you could just see their heads above the table.
Okay, and I was gutted I missed the Lopake this year. I sent my kids, but it's no like me to send my kids and not be there rooting them on, because that's, see, my head teacher had said to me before, see if she clocked all the overtime that I do for taking these kids and visiting at all these perform, I'd be due about a year off. And I was gutted I missed the Lopake because our kids did really well again that year.
That was good. That was good. Oh, that's fantastic. So you were talking about doing the bun supper at the church, and you mentioned Willie Wassell. It sounded as though that's something you could do off the cuff. Would you be?
I could probably do that one for you off the cuff.
Yeah, well, help yourself, lass. Come on.
Well, I'll go for it. Right.
Go for it.
Need to channel my facial expressions. I keep getting my wains. I keep saying, "Get ugly with your face." I want to see how ugly his wife was. I'll probably need to take my specs off for this so I can really wrinkle my face up. Okay. Willie Wassell by Robert Burns. Willie Wassell dwelt in Tweed. The spot, they called it Lincoln Doddy. Willie was a lobster geed, could stone a clue with anybody. He had a wife, was doer and done. Oh, tickler Meiji was a mother. Sick a wife as Willie had. I wouldn't gie a button for her. She has an E. She has but yin. The cat has twa, the very colour. 5 rusty teeth for by a stump. A clap her tongue with Diva Miller. A whisking beard about her mouth. Her nose and chin, they threaten her. Sick a wife as Willie had. I wouldn't gie a button for her. She's bow-hawed. She's hen-shinned, a limping leg, a horn-breed shoulder. She's twisted right, she's twisted left, to balance fair in ilka quarter. She has a hump, upon her breast, the twin of that, upon her shoulder. Sick a wife as Willie had, I wouldn't gie a button for her. All Baldrins by the angle sits, and where loof her face a lashing. Willie's wife is nae sae trig. She takes her grins away her hushing. Her wally knees like midden creels. Her face would fail the Logan water. Sick a wife as Willie had, I wouldn't gie a button for her.
Well done.
Can get my specs back on now.
the clapping doesn't come over in Zoom, but at least people see that we're
Thank you.
That's tremendous.
That's one that I really like doing with the kids, and I remember I had a primary 6 class, and that was our class poem for that year. And I transferred it into our artwork, and we looked at the descriptive language, and they did their own portraits of Willie Wassell's wife, and they were fabulous, really good.
They end up doing all the, I mean, like you said, that final verse about the cat, all moderns, they pick up on that, and then they're doing the.
They're doing their reactions and everything too.
It's great fun.
They're good.
But you're a singer.
Aye.
No, you've got to give us a song, sure.
Oh, try to think what was the girls this year. I had 2 at national level, and they sang. It was at St Joseph's in Dumfries, and the singing took place in the chapel, and oh my God, the acoustics were, what a venue, like it was beautiful. So Flow Gently is one that the kids love, and I feel if it's Newcomb Nook, then I should be doing Flow Gently Sweet Afton.
Of course.
Okay. Oh, I wonder if my wee accompaniment, I might even have my accompaniment for Christine on my phone.
You might find that it doesn't come over on Zoom. So
oh well, you know, here's I'll need to go. Worried. Right, we'll go solo then. Okay. Flow gently, sweet Afton, among thy green braes. Flow gently, I'll sing thee a song in thy praise. My Mary's asleep by thy murmuring stream. Flow gently, sweet Afton, disturb not her dream. Thou stock dove whose echo resounds through the glen, ye wild whistling blackbirds in yon thorny den, thou green-crested lapwing, thy screaming forbear. I charge you, disturb not my slumbering fair. Oh, I've forgotten the next wee bit. Where was I going there?
Lofty. How lofty.
Oh, there we go. How pleasant thy banks and green valleys below, where wild in the woodlands the primroses blow. There oft the mild evening weeps over the lea, the sweet scented bark shades by Mary and me. Flow gently, sweet Afton, among thy green braes. Flow gently, sweet river, the theme of my lays. My Mary asleep by thy murmuring stream. Flow gently, sweet Afton, disturb not her dream.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well done. That was fantastic, because we talked to, tell the audience, we talked a wee bit before we started about what Danielle might do, and it was neither of these two things. So she's really been dropped in there. So well
I'll
done.
just go off the cuff. I went off script.
Excellent. Well done. Can I take you back to Scots language again? One of the things we found when we started the Lecraig Festival is that the kids at the school at Muirkirk, almost they felt better that they were allowed to use Scots in the playground and even in the classroom. And it gave them a bit more confidence that they were able to do that.
Yeah, I would say that's the same at Newcomb Nook. We would never correct anybody. I know when I'm speaking in quite formal settings, I'll use my kind of more polite dialect, but there's nothing more I love than the kids being able just to speak with how they feel comfortable. And quite often, if you're finding, if you've got a wee one who's maybe struggling or having a wee rough day, when you come in and you just actually change your approach, speak to them as you would out in the playground, talking like this, like what's going on today? What's going on? They come out a wee bit quicker, because it takes away that formality of being addressed by a teacher, if you know what I mean. They feel like more approachable.
I think it's marvellous. I really do, because I went to bank school and you come as a 5-year-old and it was bell to do you.
Really? Oh, goodness.
Yeah, I know. It's good that the world has changed and it's now recognised as an official language. So
absolutely.
So that's been a long time coming.
Definitely.
So that's good. One of the successes you obviously have had, because you talked about it with the kids that are now in secondary school still coming back and wanting to do burns.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the problems we've seen over the years is that the primary schools may do burns, but when they go to secondary, it all disappears. Is there any sign of any change in that?
Certainly not for our Newcomnock kids. I feel that, you see, even a couple of mine that are ready to leave in primary 7, they're already saying, right, Miss McNulty, I'll see you December time, we'll maybe pick my poem for next year. So our kids, they have that drive. Part of what you have with it, I know, and secondary schools are so big and you've got people in so many different departments, and it's very exam driven, and they've got, you know, targets they need to meet. So do we. But you need to have a driver, you need to have someone in the school with a passion and who is prepared to put the blood, sweat and tears and the time into it to drive it through. And I think that's what our kids get, and that's how they are now reaping the benefits of that. And when they go to competitions and folks see a wee Newcomnock badge, they start to get a wee bit nervous. So, we've heard Newcomnock's quite good. And I think you need to have that, and without that, it will drop. And that's why I'm very fortunate that our kids will come back and want to do it. And the wee early finish on a Friday works quite well for that they can go off the bus and just pop in and go through it, and it's great. It's really good.
Oh, it's tremendous. It really is. But one of the other things I wanted to ask you about, you talked about the your burns night. And I was looking on, I tend to do a wee bit of research on social media before we do these things. And I was looking at the programme for the last one, and I noticed that you do a quiz where you ask the kids to bring their devices.
Yeah. So we do this every year. It's we use Kahoot, and that's something we can use in the classroom as well. So they scan the QR code and it turns their phone or their iPad into, you know, an interactive panel that they can answer the questions, and you can see on the screen who's all answered and who got the right answer. And then Beth from the Ayrshire Association actually asked me to do that with the audience at regionals at Ayrshire this year, because normally they would have someone performing. I think last year they maybe had Simon Lamb doing a wee bit, or maybe a previous person that had experienced success at these competitions come and do a wee piece, and she asked me to do the wee time filler, and it was brilliant seeing everybody fully engaged and showing their knowledge about the life of burns. It was fab, and they love it. See, everyone at all ages at these burns nights, and they showed that at the regionals. Everybody gets involved and they get very, very competitive. So that's a great success, and they'll look for that every year. They'd be disappointed, I think, if that wasn't in my programme.
No, that's terrific. I mean, I'm a great advocate for using technology to widen the scope of how people access burns. It's tremendous. And it was interesting because many years ago, and I'm going back probably about 20 years now, I was asked to do a talk at an event in Edinburgh, and it was run by one of the computer companies. I won't mention their name, and the idea was they wanted to combine a Burns night with a night of using technology, and they did. That was the first time I'd ever seen a kind of online quiz. Everybody got given a device, and we all had to answer the questions, and the screen had the answers and the league table up there. So it was very competitive. It was great.
It's good, and it makes it fun, and that's obviously what we're trying to do every day at school, is make learning fun. And I think that can be done through teaching kids about the life of Burns as well, through that kind of avenue. It's good.
Yeah, no, I think that's tremendous. I mean, there's so much. I mean, a few years ago, Colin Hunter McQueen did a cartoon style book on the life of Burns, which to me was a great innovation at the time. But I noticed that David Westwood has just published a book on the life of Robert Burns, done in the style of a children's book rather than an adult book. Yeah, so there's things starting to happen, which is pretty good. So that's great.
There's loads happening. I mean, I was looking at Jane from your Kirk, Joan McDade.
Yeah.
McDade. I was looking at her book last week. She gave me a copy of her book from my granddaughter, my youngest one, and I was reading it. It's absolutely brilliant.
Well, Jim, we had her in at the school today, actually, and that's what I found, that doing these events and bringing people in, you're then building really strong connections. So I would reach out to Jo, and she contacted me when her book got published and said, look, can I come in? So she was in the day, and I've got pictures. I've yet to post them. That's my job the night that I need to do, is put them in the school blog and the Twitter page. But she came in, and the illustrator, and they read the books to all the kids, and they were so engrossed. They did it from primary 1 to primary 3, and those kids were hooked, and it was wonderful. And they did that in their book today. So that's another wee book to add to our school library, because we're trying to develop a Scots language section within that. If we have any surplus money, we're obviously quite fortunate. We have the Hunter Foundation money that comes in annually to the school, and we want to develop our school library to include more Scots language books, because you can get everything. Look at all the Roald Dahl books you can get in Scots, and all the picture books that are in Scots. You know, my wee Ian loves the Gruffalo in Scots and things like that. So we want to start branching that out in our school library. That's my job for next year, is to build that up.
In your library?
It's not, but it should be.
Right, I'll drop you off some copies then.
Oh, thank you.
Next time I'm up that way.
Thank you very much, Jim.
I'll drop some off.
Fab, thank you.
The books that we used to use when we were up at Muirkilt were Matthew Fitz books. He did quite a few.
I mean, some of these things, I mean, I was actually taken aback. I mean, I've not joined for a while now, and I was really surprised.
Aye, it's been brilliant.
She's right into reading, you know. Drive me up to read as well.
So what's the future? What's what do you want to achieve next?
I don't know. I'd love to just see us continue to develop, to maybe start to give my staff that opportunity to upskill themselves, because you try and look at the sustainability of delivering something like this, and what if you take me out of the equation, what happens? So I want to make sure that not that I'm planning on going anywhere, because it's in my blood, but if I ever was to move on, would these kids that have this talent and this heritage inbuilt them, could that continue without me driving it? So I think I'd be looking to kind of upskill my staff, you know, pinpoint them to some CPD opportunities to learn more about Scots language, build up the resources that we've got in the school, so they've got more things at their fingertips that they can access to share with their kids. It's more like the sustainability of it that I'd be looking at doing next, and continue. Just the other things that we do is just now part of our bread and butter. There's no much thought that has to go into it, because we just know that it happens. It's just part of our school life. We've got our regional competitions, our school competitions, our community night to get everybody in, and I love that is now fully embedded in school life.
Good. Is there? I'm putting my colleagues in the Newcastle Burns Club on the spot here. Is there anything more that the club could do? I mean, I know that you know the people come along and judge competitions and such like. But is there anything else that we could do?
It's maybe worthwhile having a wee sit down and chatting with the likes of Jim or whoever to see, because I know Wally's I was asking, you know, what do you need? And he came in, bless him, and donated the new Cumnut pins to all our kids who still wear them with pride every day to school as if they're a prefect. They love it. They wear their new Cumnut Burns Club pin with their school jumper. So they've got that wee affiliation with the club. Obviously,
anyway, it was unfair to put you on the spot. I mean, I think what I'm saying is, if there's anything that you think of that we could do to help, just let us know. I'm sure our fellow club members would go along with that. So,
thank you very much.
Now, we set you up at the start and asked if you would do a wee poem for us, and we dropped you in it by getting you to do stuff that you hadn't prepared or that you weren't ready for. But what's the chance of you finishes it off with Tam Glen?
Let's do Tam Glen. I'm getting my words up because I stumbled at that last year and I'm not doing that again.
That's all.
This is showing my wains that even when it's absolutely inbuilt, you still need a wee prompt now and again. Absolutely. This is one that I'm quite fond of, this one, because this is my first wee Burns prodigy, as you call her, was a wee lassie. She's like a young woman now, wee Demi Thames. And I'm fond of this one because this is one that she was superb at and drew everybody in. Do you remember her?
Can I just say that she came up to one of the early Prate competitions way back, and the audience was gobsmacked.
Yep, she's outstanding, and you know, she is now a young, confident woman, and her mum will still message me now and again saying, "I miss the days," because the competitions and going away at the weekend and having everybody, the grands, the papas, everybody all there, was just such a lovely community event, and it really gave a buzz about the school. And she was outstanding, and this was one of the first ones, and she went all the way to nationals with this one. That's why I'm so fond of it. And one of my girls, actually, wee Adele, that performed at the Holy Fair no long ago and did really well at the 6-7 competition Ayrshire this year. She's asked to do this next year for secondary. So you're getting a wee insider info that she's got to do this at national level. So I'll do Tam Glen by Robert Burns. My heart is a breaking, dear Titty. Some consoling to me come len. To anger them all is a pity. But what would I do with Tam Glen? I'm thinking, we sick a bra fella in Portith, I'll make a fen. What care I in riches to wallow if I'm wanna marry Tam Glen? There's Lowry, the Laird of Drumeller. Good day to you, brute. He comes ben. He brags and he blows, oi silly. But when will he dance like Tam Glen? My Minnie does constantly deave me and bids me beware of young men. They flatter, she says, to deceive me. But where can thinks he, oh Tam Glen? My daddy says, gin I'll forsake him, he'd give me a good 100 marks 10. Oh, but if it's ordained I'm on take him, oh, what will I get but Tam Glen? Yestreen, at the Valentine's dealing, my heart to my moogie to sten. For thrice I drain without failing, and thrice it was written, Tam Glen. The last Halloween I was walking, my dricket sark sleeve as you ken, his likeness came up the hoose stalking in the very great breeks of Tam Glen. Come, counsel, dear Titty, don't tarry. I'll gie him a bonny black hen. If you'll advise me to marry the lad I load dearly, Tam Glen. Thank you. Thank you.
Fantastic. That was excellent. Oh, Danielle, that's been great. That's really enjoyed talking to you about it, and talking to you about Burns, talking to you about the Scots language, talking to you about your teaching. It's been a great session. Sorry, Jim, on you go.
Can I maybe just say something to you? Genuinely, from a you coming up boy. Seriously, the day you got the job and you come up for that year, right? You come up wins, won a prize.
Oh, thank you, Jim. Thank you.
Wonderful.
It's been great talking to you. You're a great inspiration, and more power to your elbow, and keeping going with the young people and how well you're developing them. And it's just been fantastic to get a chance to get some time with you. And thanks very much for telling us about your life with Robert Burns.
Thank you very much, gents. Thank you.